Well, hello, and welcome back to my craft table. I've been busy tea dyeing again and I've been out in the sun. So many of you had questions about my tea dyeing video and also suggested different ways that we could try. And that's exactly what we're doing today. So I'm going to show you 5 methods. We're going to use avocado skins, avocado pits, avocado leaves, crushed blueberries, and then we're going to use the butterfly PT. We're actually going to use 2 variations of this one. So let's dive in. Okay, so we're going to do another tea dye session from my video that I uploaded the other week, and this time I'm going to address some viewer questions. So I'm just setting up, I'm standing in the shade because I have had a skin cancer issue, so I do try to stay out the sun as much as I can. So I'm just going to zoom in so you can see there's the table there, and I've got my tablecloths and I'm going to set them up, but they have not been cleaned. I've still got the tea dye from the previous batch, and that's how I leave it. Okay, so now I have got the tablecloths down. So these are plastic, and again they've just got the residue from previous tea dyeing sessions, and you can see here a close-up of the types of patterns that I've got. In Australia, we've got a store called Spotlight, and that's where I purchased them from. And this one, just another design. I don't get the greatest imprints from that one, but I still do get a mild one. But these ones I can get really, really good results. But I see them all over YouTube, so I'm sure you will know and be very familiar with these ones. Okay, so we do have an avocado tree, and one of the viewers did say that she uses the leaves. It's not looking very, very happy at the moment. I don't know what's the matter with it. It gets watered. I'm wondering if it's the heat, or could it be that it's in the pot? We've only got a small courtyard, so we can't plant it in the ground, unfortunately, but I'm going to grab some leaves from this. Okay, so this is what we're going to do today. It's a little bit of an experiment. So this is some avocado leaves from that poor little tree. So we'll try that. I've got some avocado skins which I have cleaned out. I've got an avocado pip, and I've got some lemon juice, and this is the butterfly, it's called the butterfly PT, I believe. And I've got some black tea there, and I also thought I would try some blueberries, which I've kind of mashed up with a fork, and we'll strain that later. So let's get the kettle boiling. All right, so I'm going to tip the boiling water into the teapot, and we'll let that steep for a couple of minutes. Okay, and I will add some water while I'm here to the blueberries. There's not many in there, so we might not really get much of a dye there, but we'll try. Now, what I wanted to do was tip some of this blue tea in here, because my hairdresser, who's Japanese, told me that if I add a bit of acid it will change colour, so lemon juice. So let's try. Oh, it did. Okay, all right, well that's something to know. So that's now turned a nice pink colour as well. Look, it's very probably light, so that's something to be aware of, that you can get blue and this colour. So we'll go with that and see what we get. Okay, so I've got my papers left over from the last session, and I've also got my stencils ready to go as well. Okay, so the pot is coming up to boil, so I'm just going to throw in my avocado leaves, and we'll just let them simmer away until we see if we get a colour out of those. Okay, so it has been boiling away for a few minutes. Oh, it's kind of that colour. I don't know, we'll see. Could be a alternative to, someone asked about green tea, and I think that that would be what green tea would look like, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so that has been simmering for quite some time and it has not changed colour. So I think what I'll do is I'll take everything out now and I'll pour it into this cup here, and you know, it just gives that colour, which I don't know what colour. In the light, it does almost seem to have a bit of a dusty pink colour, so we might give that one a go. All right, so I'm just pouring in this butterfly PT, the one that we added the lemon to. So there's not much there, so I'm just going to throw some papers in and we can begin the soaking process. Look, because I've only got a little bit of that solution, we'll start off with just one. Now this is the same paper as what I used last time. So as I said in the comment section when I was replying, there was a paper shortage in Perth at one point, and I had to get what I could get, and this is a lighter weight, but I do like to use a heavier weight normally, and I will put down, we'll talk about that later. I'll show you what paper I do tend to use. Okay, now I'm doing this with one hand, so we'll see how this goes. But you can see I've got the paper in the solution, and there is a tiny little bit of sun starting to peek through. So I'm just going to lay that down like that, and then I've just got this stencil here. Now I'm placing the stencil on top. Whoop. As I say, normally I have two hands. I think that'll be okay. Hopefully we got that all right, but that's now what it's looking like. And we'll just leave that now and we'll let the sun do its job. Okay, so we have got fresh water on the boil now, and this one I'll put the avocado skins in. Okay, so it's come to a boil now, so let us throw in the avocado skins. So we'll just leave that to simmer away. Now this is the Hass avocado in Australia, and the other avocado that we often get is called, I think it's called the Shepherd avocado. If there's some other Aussies watching, if you can help me out in the comments, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Hass and Shepherd are the two most common avocado varieties we get here in Australia. Okay, so the avocado skins have been simmering for about a good, I'd say 15 minutes. I did simmer it a bit longer than I expected because I was sort of busy looking after everything else. So we'll take out the avocado skins and I will pour. It's actually quite a lovely deep colour, but I will strain it because it looks like it's got some bits, but that's come out a really lovely, you can see there, very dusty sort of pink. Okay, so a fresh pot, and this time I'll throw in the pip because apparently the pip gives a different colour. It's one lonely pip, but we'll see what we get with it. Alright, so we do appear to be getting a very soft pink colour. These are some Japanese kitchen scissors. Obviously, I'm only doing this because I've got one pip. You know, you might have several pips. You know, I just sort of give the poor pip a chance to release its colours. So I've just chopped it into a few bits there, but it does seem to be getting to a nice pink. Okay, so this is becoming a real science experiment now. So I am starting to label everything. So this is only avocado pip, and that has come out a lovely deep colour as well. All right, so we'll strain the crushed blueberries now. Right, so I'm going to tip, this is the butterfly pea flower tea, so I'm going to tip that solution in. We'll put some paper in, and I will turn it over, and I'm going to let this soak. Now what I do is I then kind of go in the middle and I lift it up, and then I turn it around. Now, you know, you have to be careful obviously because this is delicate sort of paper, but as I've said, rips can actually be used anyway, so I'm just going to let that soak for a few minutes, not too long because it is so hot it's going to evaporate. I just want to get a little bit of a stronger colour. Actually, I might bring it inside and let it soak for about, I'm going to soak it for about 15 minutes. Okay, so I have brought it back out again. It's been soaking for about probably 15-20 minutes. And what I'm going to do is now take every single piece of this paper out very carefully, and I'm going to lay it onto the plastic tablecloth. Then the next step is going to be, I'm going to get my stencils and I'm going to lay them on top of the wet paper. Then I'm going to show you the papers that are going to be all laid out, and they're going to have come out of the dye solution, laid out onto the table, and then the stencil has been placed on top in the hot sun, and we're going to let them dry and let the sun do its job. Okay, so here are the papers now. They're all been laid down onto the plastic tablecloth, and I have placed the stencils over the top. Some I've left blank because you know, we don't need everything to be stenciled. Now this is the part that confused some viewers. I'm not painting these stencil designs on. The stencils are sitting directly on the wet tea-dyed paper as it dries in the sun, and the dye creates a natural imprint underneath. Okay, so you can see the shadow is starting to cast over to the table now, which I'll just push it back a little bit, but the papers are dry, so I'm just going to carefully lift off the stencil, and now you can see hopefully that yes, that's come out beautifully. I'm going to try and lift one up in the sun. All right, is that dry? That's still not dry. This one here, let's try this one. There you go. So that is the secret, guys. It is just choosing a very, very hot day and letting the sun blast it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these. Let's have a look. I mean, you can see the doily has got a very faint little imprint, which is fine. This one here, so you can see that that one has worked out nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let these dry a little bit longer, and then I'm going to continue on with the other dies that we created, and I'm not going to film every single one of those, but I'm just going to exactly repeat the process. Let's take advantage of this hot day. I'm editing right under my air conditioner, so I'm being blasted in cold air. And we'll do a reveal, and I will also discuss what papers that you can use to prevent tearing. These ones are not too bad. They didn't tear quite as bad this time. Okay, so here are the results. So I have got them in order. Hopefully I've remembered in order of the way I dyed them, but well, they're fairly close anyway. But I've definitely done a lot of dyeing, and then I also continued on this morning to just finish off the last of it. And these are kind of more just the nice patterns. So let's go through the results. So this is the very first one that we did, which was the butterfly pea flower tea, but it hadn't steeped for very long, so it's very, very light. So that's how that turned out. So it's still okay, just not quite a stark white. So this one here is the butterfly pea flower tea, and this is the one that we put the lemon juice in. But when it dyed, it actually seemed to have just dyed the blue color, but I got some good results. So these are the file folder dividers here, and I got a few index cards done. We got some lovely results, so that's how they turned out. I'll just sort of flick through a few, so they will be good to use. So this is the butterfly pea flower tea. So I managed to get a tag done. I got some index cards done. These ones turned out a little bit different, but like I said, every single one, it will turn out differently. See, that one turned out really crisp and clean. I guess maybe it's just the order of the way the stencil starts to clean off the tea dye. So then I got some plainer ones there. So the next one is the crushed blueberries. This was really interesting. I'm going to hold this up closer because I really like this one. I may do that again. So I just did one there like that. That's those ones there. I don't know if you can see, but it does have a very, very slight blue tinge to it, but it's also got this lovely sort of brown to it as well. Okay, so this is the avocado leaves. I used the green and the brown leaves for this one. This one came out compared to the avocado pip, and this is the avocado skin. So you can see the three different tones there. So the avocado leaves definitely a very soft color. The avocado pip seemed to give a really bright, vivid pink color, and then the avocado skin was sort of in between. So they've all turned out really beautifully. I hope, guys, that I have been a little bit clearer in the steps, just flicking through there for you. And then this is the avocado pip there. So I also wanted to show you the little dragonfly specimen butterflies stencil that I used. This is how I ended up creating some pockets for this. I played around with some of the Tim Holtz field guide stamps. I'm very, very happy with how they turned out. I just wanted to show you, just to give you some inspiration. So guys, here are the results. Beautiful natural dyes. So my favorite is the crushed blueberries. What about you guys? Which one did you like? Which ones would you think you would try? Let me know in the comments. So if this was helpful, I'd love a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, come join us for some more junk journal fun. And if you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. I reply to everyone. So I think that's it, guys, for another video. I'll see you next time. Happy creating, and bye for now. Bye.